Happy Halloween, everybody. It's everyone's favorite holiday, even though people claim they're unique for saying it's their favorite holiday, even though it's literally the most popular holiday ever, and it's more mass marketed than Christmas, but frickin' people say that it's their favorite anyways, even though they're not original. Everyone likes Halloween. Shut up. I'm trying to think of ideas for this topic to use for Halloween. I had a lot of different ideas for Halloween videos, some of which I even did before Halloween, but for the one that I actually did decide on, this one. So you may be staring at the title wondering what it means. Well, simply, a deal maker is what it sounds like. A character that constantly makes deals with other characters. Could be to help the deal maker, to gain the trust of someone, or just to cause chaos, but that's the way they do things. You may be wondering why this is a Halloween video, but when thinking of characters for this video, I noticed how many of them were villains. Heck, all but two of these could be argued as the most evil character in their series. So I felt like this was enough to make it for this month. Yes, Top Than Witches would have made more sense, shut up. Rules are a standard one per series, though I'll also throw in I'm ranking these both on how much I like them as a character and how good they are at deal making. A lot of characters end up making one or two wagers throughout their series. I'm focusing on the ones that are more consistent. Also, for fun, I'm going to ask myself if I'd make a deal with these characters, assuming I knew nothing about them. That's all I have to say. Let's see who we're dealing with. So I'm sure some of you might still be confused what this topic's about. For that, I feel like the most easy and obvious thing to do would be talking about the most well-known example of this trope, and for this, it's the devil. I don't need to explain who the devil is, but as a figure, he's very tried to this trope, to the point where deal with the devil is a very well-known phrase. So, who is the devil rep for this list? Well, if there's anything I love more than Satan, it's false advertising. This game is called Don't Deal with the Devil. The first thing that happens in this game is to deal with the devil. You motherfucker! The devil from Cuphead is probably the purest form of this trope. He's a devil, obviously, and his whole shtick is making deals. In fact, every boss in the game has made a deal with him. Win at his casino, or lose your soul. You'd think after 17 different people lost their very soul, people would catch on, but Cuphead's characters are very stupid. Deals are a very crucial part of the game, as you can't process without them, and they're your reward for being the boss. That and PTSD. Like I said before, the devil is the purest version of this trope. He is also very boring. That's what puts him low. He's kind of lacking in personality. He doesn't do much in the game besides restarting the story and being the final boss. As for if I'd make a deal with him, no. Look at this casino. How on earth did multiple people think it was a good idea to play Ghostface with this dude? The sky is literally red. How are people so stupid on this island? I said only two of these guys aren't pure evil, and Gate of Truth is definitely one of them. There's nothing you can use to describe him other than true neutral. The entire philosophy of Fullmetal Alchemist is the law of equivalent exchange. And Truth is basically the personification of that. If you want to revive someone, it'll literally cost you an arm and a leg. You can give people the gift of alchemy, but you can also take away your sight and a whole bunch of other not so fun things. Truth seems pretty much robotic a lot of times, as he speaks in the Legion and he barely moves, but he's very much sentient. And Gate's not evil at all. He even, big spoiler for the show I guess, but like it's like a decade old, so frick you, congratulates Ed on learning the true meaning of friendship or something like that. Really with Truth, everything depends on how you yourself try to make a deal. Play your cards right, and you may end up scot-free. Disrespect the law of exchange, though, and you end with a second worst ending you get from something with the initials GOT. The thing with Truth is really that you can only meet him when you initiate yourself, so it kind of breaks the rules of this list. Thanks for everything, you freaking Cartoon Network nude. When you really think about it, we're all deal makers. We always try to reason with ourselves. We try to reason with others. We try to make bargains and deals with other people. If you're a retail worker, I'm sorry, but we also try to make, exchanges with them. Mostly being, buy this product so we never have to see each other again. So I feel like it's only fair to represent the little people on life. Not the big gods and demons that we've been talking about so far. Just the smaller, the everyday people. I also want to talk about Kirby. Does the enemy sales guy count? Probably not, but shut up. It's the most simple deal you could possibly make. Money can be exchanged for goods and services, but hey, you gotta give the salesman this. He's very persuasive. Where else can you find monsters? Walmart? I mean, probably, but I mean monsters you can buy, not people shopping there. Would I buy something from him? Dude, he sells giant monsters. I'll take your entire stock. Sadly, it seems like even Tim Curry was wrong. There is indeed capitalism in space. Well, the devil is the most well-known version of this trope. Probably the second most well-known is from fairy tales. More specifically, the character of Rumple. He can do various deals for you in exchange for meaningless things like for children. When it comes to Rumple, there's three well-known versions. The fairy tale version, which is a mess considering a large amount of escape clauses. The one from Once Upon a Time, which is fine but whatever. And the one from Shrek. I don't think I need to say who I'm picking. Rumple in Shrek is hands down a successful and evil Shrek villain. Don't get me wrong, I love Farquaad, and I even considered Fairy Godmother for this list. But while she's the better character, Rumple is a better deal maker. For one, he actually makes one with Shrek. And not just any deal, one that literally makes him sign his life away. And not just that, he was literally signed away from killing the ogre. Rumple is not a physical threat, even though he can beat him up. But he's a very charming and charismatic guy. And besides for Shrek, he almost got the king and queen to give up the throne. And in an alternate timeline, he did exactly that. As king of the world, he has pretty much nothing but sit around and make deals, none of which negatively affect him at all. Rumple's best attribute is his ability to talk fast, and that's a strong power, I should know. He blasts past the introduction and the fine print and illustrated deal making, which really counters his obvious weakness of that anyone can just read the print and realize he's a scammer. If I met Rumple, I'd like to say I'd pick up on this, but listen, no one reads the terms and conditions. I'd immediately give my life away to a Shane Dawson looking motherfucker. So this is supposed to be a spooky list, but so far the last two have been very comedic. I feel like we should go back to the horror roots that this is supposed to be, because this is a Halloween video. Or I could do this.
I am the Flying Dutchman!
Oh, Flying Dutchman, my beloved. When thinking of ideas for this list, I never expected to go to Spongebob of all places, but surprisingly, Dutchman is a great pick here. Think about it. In almost all of his appearances, he's trying to make a deal with someone. A lot of the time, he helps the main cast out because he's just in a good mood, like Your Shoes Untied or Arg, or because the joy of seeing people eventually get scared of him is enough, like in Scaredy Pants. However, deal making is his main thing. Sometimes it's a more genie-esque way, like in Shanghai, where before he eats the main trio, he allows them to make 3 wishes, or in others, it's the more traditional deal-maker way. His main want from other people is their soul. What he wants with his soul, I don't know. Sometimes it's just to have it, other times it's to torture it. Listen, I'm not going to question him. In Born Again Krabs, Dutchman makes a deal with Krabs that he won't take his soul if he can change his ways. Krabs mostly does well, until he snaps and Dutchman comes to take his end of the bargain. That is until he offers Krabs another deal, keeping his most trusted employee, or 62 cents. You can probably assume what he picks. He returns it almost immediately though, but Spongebob does nothing but talk about what he's into very annoyingly. You know, like my channel. In the episode Money Talks, Krabs makes a deal that the Dutchman will collect his soul if he gets the ability to talk to money. He fulfills the deal, but when he comes to collect, it's revealed that Krabs has already sold his soul to several demons, including Spongebob. Will I make a deal with the Dutchman? I mean, yes, obviously, 62 cents for my soul? I'm a YouTuber. I don't have a soul. Also, his voice actor, Brian Doyle Murray, was literally born on Halloween. That alone nets him a spot here. Like I said, fairy tales are well known for using this trope a lot. That means in turn, it appears in a lot of Disney films. 3 in particular jump to mind: Ursula, Facilier, and Hades. But since I talked about the first 2 already in my top 50 villain songs, I'll give Hades some love. It's pretty well known by now that Disney's Hades is more so the devil than the mythological version of the character. With that being said though, Hades is a character that really pulls his weight to the point where I think we can mostly agree that he's the best character in the film. Hades' deal making is implied to be a pretty constant thing for him, but on screen we only see it twice. Once with Meg and another for Hercules. For Meg, he makes the deal that he'll revive her past love if she joins him. He revives him, only for him to immediately peace out and date someone else. Love is a farce. This video got really depressing. The other one is with Herc, who for Hercules' strength, Hades will give up Meg. This actually works really well. Meg ends up dying in a fight, and while Herc somehow manages to kill a Cyclops and all 4 Titans while depowered, Sakurai, please nerf, he immediately bounces back and tricks Herc and his suddenly growing Mr. Fantastic arm into killing him. Almost. Again, Hercules is busted. Hades' quick thinking is what really puts him up here. He's a great planner, but on the fly, he can really come up pretty easily with ways to bypass any obstacle. Would I work with him? Maybe. I mean, there are some obvious red flags, but he's such a chill guy that given the right deal, I may buy what he's selling. It all depends on fate, I suppose. Then also if he would let me roast marshmallows on his head, that's very essential. You know what I like? Plants. Plants are nice. Plants will never try to kill me. Plants will definitely help me hook up with the girl I've been stalking out of the kindness of their hearts and no alternative motive. Plants will... wait, plants don't have hearts. Oh no. I love it when the deal is super simple. In Little Shop of Horrors, Audrey 2 lays out their plans pretty straight. Give me human sacrifices and I'll give you anything you want. Nice, simple, effective, involves murder. All you want in a deal. The problem is, Audrey 2 is not as pure as her demands for human blood may lead you to believe. She's an 80s villain. Of course she wants to take over the world. However, you have to admire Tui for both being super upfront and super secretive at the same time. And unlike a lot of deal makers, she gets stuff done. She gets Seymour everything he wants immediately after she's fed. You gotta admire her commitment, all the way up until the end, until she's strong enough to fight Seymour, which, depending on the version of the film you watch, she may actually come out on top, making her the only character on this list to win, besides maybe Truth, depending on how you look at it. Would I work with this mean green motherfucker? In all honesty, I feel like I would probably give her my blood when she's a small plant. When she's big and much full of people, I'd probably leave her to die. You can't trust plant mains. They have too much going on in their cranium.
Name's Bill, but you can call me your new lord and master for all of eternity!
Hey, would you look at that? The costume makes sense. I already talked about Billiam Syllable in 2 previous separate videos, so there isn't much to say he knew here. Besides one thing, Bill truly is one of the best deal makers out there. It's a pretty essential part of his character. When we're first introduced to him, he's pretty useless on his own, and he's literally just a 2-dimensional figure who can't interact with a higher plane. Only way he can affect higher planes of reality is by making deals with people, which he's already made several successful ones before gaining complete control. The first one he makes lore-wise is with Ford. The two will work together to gain knowledge of other realms. No downsides at all, besides Bill occasionally possessing Ford's body without consent, so he can build the machine that can go into Nightmare Realm. The first one we see on screen takes place seconds after his introduction in Dreamscapers. Gideon makes a deal with Bill that he invades Stan's mind to get a combination to open a safe, and in return, Gideon will help Bill with something else there down the line. The deal is called off, but Bill does take advantage of Gideon later. The big one he makes is with Dipper in the episode Sock Opera. This is the episode that really sets up Bill as the villain. Up till then, he's been more of a goofy side character. This is where we found out that he means business. In this deal, Dipper gets a password to the author's laptop, and Bill gets a puppet. That puppet being Dipper, who, while in the possession of Bill, nearly succeeds in getting the drills he needs to become a real boy. His next appearance is his most important deal he made, with Blendon, and because of this, he pretty much wins. He gets a physical form and he starts the apocalypse. Bill gets this high not because of my extreme bias for him, but because he's just that great of a deal maker. He makes them constantly. He's always got a plan, and in the end, he wins. Almost, but still, for a period of time, he was the top of both the metaphorical and literal pyramid. You better believe I'd make a deal with this dude. He's charismatic as heck. So Bill's one of my favorite characters of all time. He was #1 on my cartoons villains list. He's what my costume is based on. He's undoubtedly a great deal maker. He appears twice on my background. Why is he not #1? Well, really, the reason is just because the two above him are just that good at deal making. And for that, we should move on to them. Over a year ago, I made a video about my favorite anti-villains. In that, I said cats are usually seen as pretty evil. I stand by that, but the more interesting thing is how often they're connected to the devil. They may get devil horns, or have satanic abilities, or even be named after Satan. But that's as far as it goes. There's no cat that's actually Satan. Right?
Trading your soul for? Would you like to?
I was not right! Kyubey from Madoka Magica may look cute, but there is no love behind those big anime eyes. Oh yeah, also spoilers from Madoka Magica, but if you haven't somehow heard the twist, I am flattered this is the first YouTube video you've ever seen. In Madoka they are witches, big evil creatures that threaten humanity. Only way to fight them is to become a magical girl, which making a deal with Kyubey is one of the few ways to become one. Seems great, you get to fight evil and you get to look cute and shoot lasers. Win-win. But it turns out, Kyubey ain't doing this out of the love of their heart. No, they're doing it because their universe will literally die without the power magical girls and witches give off. They're lying straight to the faces of innocent girls they make deal with, but they're doing it for what they believe to be a noble reason. It's utterly fucked up beyond belief, but you can almost understand why Kyubey would do this. That's what makes them, in my eyes, a better deal maker than these 8. Not bashing any of these guys, I love them, but they really only do it because they just do. Kyubey, for the sake of their world, needs to turn innocent children into eldritch beings, and technically they never lie about it. They just leave out information. That information being that you're gonna go mad and lose your physical form, but hey, that's the fault of the 12-year-old girls for not asking. As for if I deal with Kyubey, well, they only make deals with young girls, and I'm not young or a girl, so their deals are irrelevant to me. But besides that, Kyubey is the level of deal making only one character could possibly beat them at. Nobody. I kind of now mentioned already everyone I considered. Pretty much everyone I considered was either in the intro for this as background footage, or I mentioned them in the actual segment. Frick you. #1. So, we're finally at the end of this video. This was a really hard video to find entries for. I had to look up, down, all around, in space, under the sea, in between dimensions, here or there, everywhere, in a house with a mouse, in a box with a fox, near, far, wherever you are, and finally, over the garden wall. Okay, so this might be a weird pick for the top spot, but I do have my reasons. For one, he's undeniably a great deal maker. He's got pretty much 100% success rate. He's dealt with multiple children in the past, in both meanings of the phrase dealt with. The big deal the Beast made is with the Woodsman. Basically, the Woodsman will be the slave of the Beast for eternity, cutting down trees, and in return, the Woodsman's daughter's soul inside the lantern will be safe. There's just one hang-up. Her soul is in the lantern. Beast's is. The whole time he's manipulating Woodsman to keep himself alive, similar to Kyubey. The children he's met all turn into trees, which he uses to fuel the lantern. Honestly, it's a useful system. You gotta admire his resourcefulness. When it comes to deals with the Beast, there's two options. Become his lackey or die. There's no other way. So he's a big scary dude who can make some big scary deals, and he actually has a reason for it, being the fuel of the lantern to keep himself alive. As if it ever goes out, he'll die immediately. But what puts him above the other 9? What makes him the best? What makes him special? Nothing. Nothing makes him special. And that's exactly why he's special. Every character on this list makes doing their ends by magic. They're either magical or straight up deities. Only one that doesn't fall into this category is Enemy Sales Guy, and even then he's an army of monsters and backing from an actual magician. Beast though? He does everything by himself. Yes, he does have magic and superpowers like controlling darkness and even manipulating dreams, but when it comes to fulfilling deals, that's all him. And of course, all him is still just smoke and mirrors. Despite his reputation on the other side of the wall, he's either killed everyone he's met or turned him into his minion. If I encountered this guy, I don't think I'd even have a chance to help him or not. I'd do it because it's the only real option here. Even at the end, yes, he does end up dying, but it was still literal seconds away from killing Greg, and you would have taken him down and worked if Work didn't put 2 and 2 together and realize the Woodsman's daughter is fine. He's an extremely successful deal maker who does it because he needs to, and he's my pick for the best deal-making character in all of fiction.
I'm going to steal your soul.
Wow, that's a great offer! How about instead I shuffle the functions of every hole in your face?